lived through the absolute evil of 9/11 remember the absolute goodness of 9/12. On 9/11, we were united in death, billionaire and minimum wage worker, cleaning personnel, and financier. On 9/12, we were united in goodness, in resiliency, in determination to rebuild, and all of our differences faded away. Neighbor helped neighbor, stranger helped stranger. We came together as one community. We remember, John, the laborers marching proudly to the pit behind the American flag and their union symbols. We remember the first responders running into harm's way. We remember the residents of affordable housing, which then existed in greater numbers, as Councilmember Marte pointed out, volunteering their time and their lives. We remember the teachers who made sure that as children fled their schools, not one was injured, not one was lost. We resolved at that time that we would build a community that captured and maintained and perpetuated that goodness. We would build an inclusive community. We would build a community for all of us, for all who gave so much. The cornerstone of that community must be an all-affordable 5 World Trade Center. We have lost too much affordable housing, and without an all-affordable, with the preference for the responders, without an all-affordable 5 World Trade Center, we will betray that commitment we made on 9/12 to maintain the togetherness and the inclusiveness of one community. We are determined to make an all-affordable 5 World Trade Center a living monument, a living tribute to all who sacrificed so much, and to that togetherness, and to perpetuate, I should say, an all-affordable permanent 5 World Trade Center, a permanent tribute to the inclusiveness of our beloved community. And finally, let no one tell you that it cannot be done financially. We know how to do it. This is not a fiscal question. This is a question of political will. And we are here to express our political will and demand that the powers that be exercise their will to create a permanent or all-affordable 5 World Trade Center. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Alan Gerson. And next up, we have our state senator, Brian Kavanaugh, who has been instrumental in getting us meetings with the agencies and helping us push this conversation forward. We're really grateful for your support.
My words will be few. I need to go soon, but I wanted to be here to again express my support for ensuring that we maximize the affordability in this building. 1,300 units is a very large scale development for this community and presents a real opportunity. And as the jury noted, we have now had a number of meetings with all the relevant state agencies and our state housing commission to have an ongoing conversation that's been going on for more than a year. But the time for decisions about this are coming soon. We will, all of the elected officials who could be here today, will be formally asking the state agencies, including the Port Authority, which we mentioned, to ensure that none of the decisions they make or votes they take at their upcoming board meetings will be inconsistent with those continuing discussions about how much affordability we get. We know that this is a community that over a long period has lost a lot of affordable housing. A lot of its character is a place where obviously some very wealthy people, but also working class and middle class people lived in this community for many, many years. We took a big step in 2019 by eliminating the single biggest way we were losing affordable housing in this community, the loopholes in the rent regulation system that allowed the largest number of lost rent-stabilized units of any community in the state who's right here in this community. We're continuing to work on ensuring affordability at places like IPN, at Battery Park City, both with some legislation that's pending and also through some additional efforts. But we need all the tools at our disposal, and certainly this project it's a really important opportunity. So I look forward to continuing to work with all my elected officials in this broad coalition and all of the allies to get something good done. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Kavanaugh. Up next, we have with us our Assembly Member-elect, Grace Lee, who has been with us, a supporter from the beginning, even before she ran for Assembly. So we are super grateful for you.
All right, say it with me. Public land for public good.
Public land for public good.
This is an incredible once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take the one last state-owned public site and turn it into affordable housing. And not only just affordable housing, but specifically for 9/11 survivors and for 9/11 first responders. There is not a better tribute that we can provide and a lasting memory for their sacrifices than to create this affordable housing in a resource-rich neighborhood, as my council member Christopher Marte has said, to provide opportunities to families who would not otherwise have opportunities. So I stand in solidarity with the coalition, my neighbors, my friends, as we call for no plan to be voted on until we come to an agreement on affordability levels for the site. And I also call on LMDC to provide all remaining funds to be invested into 5 World Trade Center site to make sure that we can make this a reality. I thank everyone here today. I thank the coalition, and we'll keep on fighting.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Grace. And that is. And Grace brought up a very good point. One of the asks is we know the LMDC still has a significant amount of funds left over, and we believe that they should all be committed to affordable housing at 5 World Trade Center. So thank you so much. Next we have Tevin. Where's Tevin? Oh, there you go. Yeah, you do. Tevin's going to speak on behalf of our Congressman-elect Dan Goldman. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tevin Williams. I'm the incoming Director of Community and External Affairs for Congressman-elect Dan Goldman. Thank you so much to the coalition for having us here. We're going to continue to fight for a community-first approach to 5 World Trade Center. The Congressman is unfortunately not able to make it. He's at another meeting, so I apologize, but thank you to the coalition and the leaders here that allowed me to speak. We are facing 2 twin crises of affordability and housing in our city. And we have an opportunity here with this particular project to show a better path forward for the development in New York. No New Yorker at the time alive remembers or forgets what happened on September 11th, or the bravery and sacrifice of someone who just spoke earlier for the survivors that have suffered debilitating health effects in the aftermath. As this area has been redeveloped for the past 2 decades, real estate developers have made tons of money, with many of the 9/11 survivors being forced to move out of this area due to lack of affordability. And that's why we're here today, to stand in support of fighting for maximizing affordability at 5 World Trade Center. The Congressman-elect is incredibly thankful to the coalition and for the leaders in the community, our elected officials that we're going to work with in the new year, and we would not be here without you. We would not have made the progress that we have made so far without your committed leadership. But there is still more work to be done, and the Congressman looks forward to continuing to be a voice for maximizing affordability and fighting for this community. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. So thank you so much. We also have a representative here with us from our current Assembly Member Yulee News office. Thanks so much for coming out here.
Thank you. Again, my name is Theo Perez. I'm Coordinator of Legislative and Community Affairs for Assemblymember Yulee New. Here to say a few quick words on her behalf. We're in the midst of an affordability crisis throughout this city, and perhaps nowhere is that more felt than here in Lower Manhattan. All right, we have a lot of working families who live here in Lower Manhattan. We have working people who want to live here in Lower Manhattan. And we have working people who are still suffering from the health effects of the 9/11 attacks. We owe it to them to use this site, the last large public site that we have here in Lower Manhattan, to support these families and to make it 100% affordable development. So we are so proud of this coalition and everything they've been able to do over the past months and years of fighting for this. We have been so proud to be standing alongside them in fighting for it. And we're going to keep doing everything we can to make sure we get those affordable units that our community needs and deserves. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Theo. Up next, we have our Community Board 1 Chair, Tammy Meltzer. Community Board 1 has also stood with us from the very beginning and issued a number of resolutions in support of 100% affordability at 5 North.
So here we stand in front of City Hall with the mayor who was elected by an overwhelming majority for us. He keeps asking the community board. He wants to be a city of yes. We're asking for yes. We want to be the community of yes. Yes, this building can be built with affordability. Yes, it can be maximized. Yes, we can have people live in Lower Manhattan who are not billionaires and millionaires. Lower Manhattan should be accessible for all of us. Whether you work as a barista or you took the bar and you're a lawyer, you should be able to live here. Students should be able to live here. The children who were raised in these communities can no longer stay here. You get a starting salary, there's no place for you in Lower Manhattan. 5 World Trade Center can restore lost housing. We need the mayor. You want us to say yes? Say yes. Governor, say yes. Find ways to say yes to affordable housing. Bring justice to Lower Manhattan. Remember, we are here. We are not just office buildings and state facilities. We are the people who live here. Some of us from before 9/11, some after 9/11. But you asked everybody to come and rebuild. Now is your time to ensure that you remember those who did so and make sure we can all afford to stay here and bring new people in. Because we have the infrastructure. Let's get the people who need it.
Well done.
Thank you so much, Tammy, for your support.
I definitely.
Alright, so up next we're going to have one of the founders of the Coalition for 100% Affordable 5 World Trade Center, Mariama James.
I want to say something very explicitly and emphatically. I've said many times, but I don't think I must not have said it strongly enough. So I want to be very, very clear today. I am known to be the last Black lifelong resident in this neighborhood surviving here from 1970. The last one. I'm also, as Victoria just mentioned, the first Black district leader in this area. On top of that, why I'm here, how I got here, I'm a 9/11 survivor. My parents were 9/11 survivors. My father passed away during this fight. He wanted me to do this. He passed away due to a 9/11 related disease. My mother's a stage 4 cancer survivor because she worked at that very site, at the Deutsche Bank building, 120 Woodbridge Street. My children suffer from conditions they shouldn't have at this age. My friends' children are suffering with cancer. This is our reality. In 2006, it was my birthday, June 13, 2006. Friend, neighbor, famous photographer, Alan Tenenbaum came to my house and he said, I want to take a picture of you and your family with your medications. I'm doing this photo spread. That photo spread continues to this day. It's called 9/11 Still Killing. But I was in the first batch. I was in that first spread. We made it to Times Online, went around the country, went around the world. With these people, this had happened. This unfortunate thing had happened to these people. Every person who was directly impacted, health-wise, by 9/11 in that spread is dead, with the exception of me and my children, including my father. Every last one is dead. People here continue to be sick, continue to be fighting for their lives on a daily basis, continue to, at the same time, fight to maintain their housing. They are housing insecure because they're paying for cancer bills. And because inflation, and because we're in a recession, and because we're in a housing crisis, whether it's been announced formally or not. We are about to face the largest housing crisis we've seen since 2008, if you ask me. In my professional opinion, as somebody who's been in finance since I was a teenager, literally. We cannot afford to miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to honor first responders and 9/11 survivors and those who returned to this community, stayed in this community, showed up in this community to help rebuild it as we were asked. And now you want to displace us and send us into the outer boroughs, because that's where low-income people, middle-income people, working-class people, people of color always get relegated to. Oh, we want to build you affordable housing. We just need to put it over here. I'm from here. I'm literally from here. I want to stay here. If anybody has a right to age in place, it's a 9/11 survivor, it's a first responder. If you build your affordable housing, your 100 units in a 1,000-story building in the Bronx, in Harlem, in Soho, in Little Italy, in Chinatown, don't do it in my name. You do that, and pat yourself on the back that you built a few units.